not make me look good. I like that. By another team here.
Okay, we are broadcasting. All right, guys. Welcome to the Cool Sports Guy. Feedback right there. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Getting into all the great stuff for this week. I'm gonna just do a quick rundown for the audience so you can know. How you guys doing today, by the way? Y'all good?
Great.
Good. Awesome. All right.
Staying hydrated.
Yeah, you gotta have that. Coke. No sponsors right now, but anyways, heck yeah. Let's see what we got going on today. So tomorrow, Broncos versus Browns. That's going to be an exciting game right there with a couple of 3-3 teams. Then we're going to move on to Sunday where the Chiefs try to redeem themselves or keep the momentum going, however you want to see it. 3-3. The Titans are on a roll right now with a 4-2 record going into. I think they're playing in Kansas City, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Chargers performance. They played. Tom, refresh my memory again. We just talked about this.
Ravens.
That's right. Ravens, and then we're going to talk about all the great stuff that Mr. Rogers and Mr. Brady and all of them have been doing. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the Broncos and the Browns. So, a few quick points. Baker Mayfield, as we all know, dislocated his shoulder, non-throwing shoulder, but he said he's good to play. Browns are in last place in their division, so last year pushes them further out of contention. And the Ravens, the Bengals, they're leading the pack with 5-1. Bengals at 4-2. Should he play? Should he wait? What say you guys? Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll let Tom go ahead.
Tom?
Oof. Okay. So yeah, Broncos, Browns. Browns last place in division. So look, Browns are being the Browns. That's all it is, right? Last year when they went all the way to the championship game, I had the same feeling when Jacksonville Jaguars went to the championship game in 2016 or 17, right? It was just surprising. That's all it was, because they're just not simply supposed to be there. And that's exactly what the Browns did. And I think the Browns were just being Browns. And I understand that Baker Mayfield's hurt, but at the end of the day, whatever the case is, them being them, and we're seeing the real them right now, and it's 3-3. Now, are they going to lose this week? No, because they still have enough talent, and I think the Broncos, I said this last week, and I'll say it again, I think they were a flawed 3-0 team to begin with, and last week, with all the stuff that was happening with I almost said Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders still pulled through. They still beat Broncos, just because I think Broncos were just that bad. And yes, Jared, I beat you because Jared picked the Broncos to win when we did our picks. And I think that's going to be the same case today. I don't think Broncos are a good enough team. I think the Browns, at the end of the day, is a more talented team, and I think they're going to win this game. But I don't think the Browns are going to go as far. Now, that being said, Baker Mayfield is not going to be playing this week. It is Case Keenum. Case Keenum actually played for the Houston Texans for a while. I don't remember him being that bad, and I don't think he's going to be that bad. I think he will manage the game pretty well, and I think he will do just okay. And I think he'll help him win the game.
All right, Mr. Jared, what are your thoughts on this?
For the game, okay, I'm a big Baker fan. As for the Browns not being that good, I think they've either looked really, really good or very mediocre. I don't think in a single game, even their losses this year, they've ever looked bad. I think that the Browns are debatably just as good as they were last year.
They just looked bad last week. What are you talking
They
about?
didn't look bad. It was, I mean, I would put that more mediocre. It's the fact that it was the Cardinals. You know, the Cardinals are probably like the most quiet, like, 6-0 team ever. Like, they still don't get a lot of talked about. But point being, the Browns haven't looked that bad. I think they're still good. As for this game, Case Keenum, if you don't remember, was the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings during the Minneapolis Miracle, which he had that entire season in Minnesota, looked like an MVP caliber player and was just playing out of his mind, and then got the big contract with Denver and then did literally nothing with it. So, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of a revenge game for Keenum. At the same time, I think the Broncos started off 3-0 and now we're 3-3 and they look horrid. But at the same time, I don't think they're that bad. And with the downgrade from Baker to Case Keenum, I think they will make it close. I still have Cleveland winning though. I don't think they've announced yet, but I think Chubb might be back for this game. And if that's the case, then without a doubt, I think they're gonna come out on top.
Yeah, I think the Chubb thing is a game time decision. They said, at least that's what I heard last.
I feel like he's gonna play.
Jose,
I hope he does. Only for my fantasy football purposes, but no, I think that with Kareem, he's out, right? So he got hurt. So that'll be a big deciding factor right there. Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum. Clearly, you want Baker Mayfield on the leading the pack. So I don't know. I mean, for me, I think the biggest playmaker for that will be the Baker Mayfield decision. I think you should wait though. Honestly, they're in last place right now. What are they? 3-3, if I'm not mistaken, or
the Browns.
The Browns are 3-3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in last place in their division right now. So
the Browns are 3-3. Yes.
Not going to hurt anything. I mean, not any worse. I mean, you fall into last place, and Ravens got 3 games on you, or 2 games right now. Bengals are there. There's no reason to get them hurt right now, especially with your running backs out. All your offensive weapons right there are going to be hurting. You know, I think Hunt and Chubb have been a really good duo, so it's just a lot of variables right now. So
I mean, Hunt is out for a few weeks. I think they said at least a month.
Really? Yeah.
I think it was a knee, I want to say. Him and the second-round pick out of Notre Dame, Jock Kamoa, they're both out at least a month. But I don't think – I think if you have one top 10 running back, I don't think you necessarily need the other one.
Unless they're hurt.
I mean, if they have neither, then we'll have problems. But also at the same time, when you're talking about like the Browns being last place in the division, it's the same thing with the Chiefs. Yes, at the point in time where we're very early in the season, they are last place. I don't think that means at all they're the worst team in the division. I think the Ravens, without a doubt, are the best. I honestly would still take the Browns over Cincinnati. And not even close, the Browns are better than Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh looks atrocious, and they've looked atrocious all year, except for week 1 for whatever reason. And like the Chiefs are last place in the division, but they haven't played the Broncos yet, which I think they will handle very easily. So
a few quick points on what you said. One, as far as the Cardinals versus Browns game, Cardinals had way more, between injury and COVID protocol, including their head coach, not on the field last week, if I remember correctly, right? So when you say they didn't lose bad, like Cardinals also weren't at nowhere near their full potential. As far as the Chiefs and the Browns being in last position, I think it's crazy to compare the two just because they're last in their division. I think if 10 out of 10 times every single one of us would bet money on the Chiefs to have a bounce back and end the season number 1 or even number 2 in their division rather than the Browns. Right?
I mean, I would bet money the Browns are going to be at least second place in the division at the end of the year.
But how much more confident are you in that?
If we're comparing it, I'm more confident in the Chiefs, yes, but I'm also very confident that the Browns will turn it around.
We'll see.
I mean, they did.
They probably will. Maybe they'll make the playoffs just because you're right. I mean, the Steelers right now look like the Broncos of that division.
Listen, I'm a Bears fan, and our schedule looks super tough, except for Pittsburgh. Like, this is the rough stretch, but we play Pittsburgh in one of those games, and I feel confident that's an easy win. That's how bad I think the Steelers are right now.
Yeah. They went to overtime against the backup quarterback against the worst defense in the NFL last week.
Also true, yeah.
That's how bad that team is.
I mean, anything can happen, right? I mean, like the Browns did take the Chiefs pretty handily last year until started breaking down towards the end. So I mean, right now the way they're both playing could be a pretty even game in my opinion. I don't know if they happen to get that far into the postseason, it'd be like an AFC matchup, AFC Championship game. That'd be great.
Another one.
But I don't think that will happen though. So I mean.
Wait, was it them? It was that AFC Championship game? That was the divisional round.
It was a divisional. Championship.
The Bills was the AFC Championship game. That's right.
Wait, who was? Yeah, because they went to what's it called? That was a divisional game, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the divisional it was Chiefs, Browns, and then I think it was Bills, Ravens. I want to say.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it Bills, Titans? Bills, Ravens. Bills, Ravens.
Bills, Ravens. Yeah.
Titans was the year before that when they beat the Ravens, and then they went to the AFC Championship against Kansas City.
Gotcha. Yeah. So good. Should be. I mean, I know they're both 3-3, but it should be a pretty interesting game right there. So then speaking of the Chiefs, though, we do have the Chiefs versus the Titans, who just came off a pretty killer game right there. Was that Thursday? Was Monday Night Football? No,
yeah.
Sunday Night Football or something.
No, it was Monday night.
It was Monday night.
Monday night. Okay, yeah, they were both crazy games right there. But yeah, so Chiefs. Now we're talking about how many comparing the two. Chiefs versus Browns. They're both 3-3, but the Chiefs wins did come against the Browns, the Eagles, and the Washington Football Team. Now their losses, they come to really good teams, though. The Ravens, the Chargers, and the Bills. So they did win last week. Can they maintain that momentum? Can they go in there and take on the Titans, who just, had a killer game right there against the Bills this past weekend? So Titans are now 4-2. They got and their only two losses. So they lost against one of the best teams, the Cardinals, who's still undefeated, right? And they've also lost against one of the worst teams, the Jets. But
talk about inconsistent.
So I mean, like a lot of inconsistencies. However, both have a lot to prove right now. I think this is a game-changing week for both of them, even though their records or their teams that they've beaten don't really show a lot for it. Who wants to go first on their takes on this?
Go ahead, Jared.
I guess I'll go first. I don't even know how to talk about the Titans because I still don't know if they're good or not. Because I mean, beating the Bills, who I think is the best team in football, is pretty amazing. But then you lose to the Jets, who I think are the worst team in football. Right. So using that logic, the Titans could either be in the bottom half or the top half of the league. I really don't know. Yeah. I think I like Mike Vrabel as a coach for the most part, but I think I don't know how they can be so inconsistent. I know upsets happen, but it's the Jets of all teams. Like they Zach Wilson looked really good against them. Also, their first round pick, Caleb Farley, tore his ACL, and then one of their receivers tore their ACL. I know those aren't big losses, but they are losses, and those add up. For beating the Titans, I feel like all you have to – I mean, I'm saying all you have to do like it's easy. All you have to do is stop Derrick Henry, which no one can do. Because, I mean, they have – Ryan Tannehill, I think, is a top – I wouldn't say an elite quarterback, but I think he's like in the 15 to 10 range, probably like 12. And then they have A.J. Brown, who I think is really good. And Julio fell off a cliff in between like 2 years ago, being injured last year and this year.
Hey, Julio had a legendary catch last week.
Okay, he had a good catch, yes. Julio was like undoubtedly like the best. I know he's older, but he was undoubtedly the best receiver in football, and it wasn't even like a slow decline. It was like best receiver in football, like mediocre receiver on a team that doesn't even pass the ball.
Mhm.
Huge drop off. For the Chiefs, as much as I want to think that the Chiefs could win that game, they're not stopping Derrick Henry. If good defenses like the Bills can't stop Derrick Henry, the Chiefs' atrocious defense isn't even going to come close. Derrick Henry had 3 touchdowns last week. I'm going to go on a limb here and say he gets 4.
Let me check if I'm playing against them, then I'll agree or disagree.
I think I played him in fantasy last week.
Oh my god! As long as you're not playing him, you're okay for the week.
He's on my team.
I wanted him, but no, I went with McCaffrey instead.
Oof, that one hurts. What you got there, Tom? What do you think is gonna?
So look, you mentioned it, right? They're both coming off a win. They're both coming off a win, and now they're 3-3. And talk about who has more motivation coming into this game. I think the Titans have more motivation coming into this game, or momentum. Sorry, not motivation. The Titans have more momentum coming into this game. Why? Because they beat the Bills, right? Chiefs beat Washington. Almost there's about 25 teams out there that can beat Washington. But the Bills, besides that week 1 hiccup against the Steelers, every other team that the Bills have played, they didn't just beat. They just, steamrolled them. And then the Titans came in here and they went toe-to-toe with the Bills. And then in the end, yeah, you can argue Josh Allen, he slipped. He couldn't get 1 more yard. That might be the case. But the fact that Derrick Henry was able to run up and down the field on them, that is a testament. That says something. Now, look, most of the time when a team has a really good run game and that's the reason the team wins, the best thing you can do is score, right? If you're playing against them, you can't, Chiefs, here's how you win the game, right? Don't turn the ball over, and every possession, try to go score. What does that usually make a running team do? They're forced to throw the ball more because they need to go back and score now. Now, that being said, the only flaw in that is the Titans will still continue to run the ball because this isn't just a good running back that they have. This is a guy who can break free for 75 yards and just go get a touchdown for you in 10 seconds on the ground. So, yeah, with the Chiefs defense playing the way they are right now, if the Chiefs offense and Patrick Mahomes, whether it's off the hands of Tyreek Hill or if it's because he just decided to throw the ball away because he's getting sacked, but he just tossed it up into the air in midfield, which don't know what that was about. But, how are you choosing to turn the ball around? If you turn the ball around in this game, I feel like you have no chance. This will have to be a back and forth. This will have to be a, hey, this game ended 42-38 kind of game. At least that's what I feel like. And look, the Titans, they're a very physical team. They will hit you with everything they got. And Jarrett, real quick, as far as Julio Jones having such a drop down, I think one of the biggest reasons always behind success of a wide receiver, a lot of it has to do with the quarterback. And I'm not saying Tannehill is a bad quarterback, but with the quarterback, you always have to play and build a lot of chemistry. Julio Jones was with the Falcons for so long. He played only with Matt Ryan for so long, and he has such great chemistry with Matt Ryan. I think that had to do with a lot of the reason to why he was so successful. And he has to slowly build that chemistry on the field with Ryan Tannehill. So a couple more weeks into it, you might see a pretty awesome Julio Jones back. But that's just a guess. We'll see. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think I'm picking the Titans to win this game.
All right. I gotta go with my Chiefs. I don't know why I said my Chiefs, but yeah, I gotta go with my Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are such a roller coaster team, but they have so many explosive weapons. I mean, Mahomes alone can make moves happen. I don't know why I keep on thinking every time I think that he's gonna go do something great, and then he pulls off, one of those interceptions that cost him the game or whatever it is. And even Tyreek Hill too, just not being able to produce big numbers. They're such a roller coaster team right now, but I think in the end they keep on. They'll probably pull out, and start making some moves. So that's my pick for the week, and just having those playmakers. Got to go with the youngin, because I go with all the youngsters on my picks, right, Tom?
Yeah, you tend to make that mistake a lot.
I don't know if I said mistake. I was just saying the youngsters. So, but speaking of youngsters, I don't know. I was trying to segue into the Chargers.
I'll say the only time you went for youngsters was when you picked the Super Bowl. Until then, your biggest argument was that I have to pick the veteran because I'm the veteran of the group.
That wasn't my biggest argument. That was just my best one. That was one of the veterans. They showed out too. I mean, in the end, I was right. I just didn't not at the right time. So that's where the key is. So, but let me go.
You weren't right. They lost 31-9.
I was right about the veterans. I just wasn't right at the right time.
Oh, about the veteran. Okay.
Please don't
Because
misquote
you said
me,
in the
sir.
end I was right. I was like,
Don't misquote me. Okay. So, anyways, there's no easy transition. Let's talk about the Chargers losing to the Ravens. And I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my pun right there. Is that so, Ravens?
I see it.
I did it. I think it worked out. Third try. I think it was
Well
really good. Appreciate it. So, Ravens, explosive quarterback. You know that he's got a lot of playmakers, and he's making all the plays himself, really, with Jackson at the helm. So, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about the performance there with the Chargers? Is that something to be concerned of, or is it the Ravens are just that good and it should have happened that way?
Jerry, you want to take this?
You can go first.
I mean, look, the Ravens are starting to look better and better every week. And matter of fact, I actually picked the Chargers to win this game, and boy, was I wrong because they didn't just lose this game; they just got their teeth kicked in. That being said, I don't think if you're a Chargers fan, I don't think you should panic just yet for a few reasons. One, you see that from time to time, right? A good team like this go in somewhere, they have a lot of confidence, but they come out with a huge loss. Last year, Buccaneers at home against the Saints, the game was game into 38-3. And it happens. I mean, you have a bad day. They're having a really good day. Your offense is having a bad day. Your defense is having a bad day. Your special teams is having a bad day. And finally, when you start to play good, you get a flag that you weren't expecting. Whatever the case is, loss is a loss, right? Doesn't matter if you lost by a field goal. If you're in regular season, it doesn't matter if you lost because you threw 4 picks. Either way, you took an L. It's not gonna. The point difference is not gonna make the biggest difference. So don't freak out just yet. Just go learn film, go back, and I think the Chargers can be fine. Because I mean, if you look at the rest of their schedule, which I have right here, they play the Patriots, Eagles, Vikings, Steelers, Broncos twice, Bengals, Giants, Chiefs, Texans, Raiders next. That's their schedule, right? So, hey, fun fact.
Sorry.
Yeah, put all their strength in. Matter of fact, I think one of the tougher games is going to be next week. I think the Patriots are going to give them a run for their money. They actually gave the Cowboys a run for their money. They took the Cowboys overtime. So, but besides that, and possibly the Chiefs bouncing back and playing good, and maybe getting their revenge on the Chargers beating them earlier in the season. Other than that, I don't really see a game in this list that the Chargers are actually going to lose. So, I don't think the Chargers fans should freak out yet. The only thing that bothered me a little bit, that's just me rooting for Justin Herbert. The Chargers reminded me of the Green Bay Packers a little bit. The Green Bay Packers, on multiple occasions, multiple years, they look like such a great team, but they would always have that one weird loss during regular season. And it's the same exact team that they face in the playoffs that they lose to. They lost to the Falcons in the 2016 season when Matt Ryan was MVP. In regular season, they lost. They went to the NFC Championship game and lost that game. They lost to the 49ers 2 years ago in regular season, went to the playoffs. They lost that game in NFC Championship game. One of their 3 losses last year was the Buccaneers during regular season, went to the playoffs, lost to the Buccaneers. And I hope that's not going to be the case with the Chargers, where they are beating every team left and right, but they just beat the Ravens, go to the playoffs, and then lose against the Ravens. So, but I think I don't think if you're a Chargers fan, don't freak out. If you're a Ravens fan, you better be feeling real good right now.
So what say you, Jarrett?
I kind of agree completely with Tom there. I think yes, they looked pretty bad, but the Ravens also look like debatably they could be better than the Bills this year, even with all the injuries. But even if there's really good teams, there's going to be blowouts sometimes just because of a matchup like difference. Some teams match up really well against teams, and even if they're better than them, they can win. I think the Ravens might be a better team.
Titans.
Okay, no, that's just the Titans played bad. I think the Ravens maybe are a better team in general. Also, turns out they had in the matchup category were pretty dang good. I wouldn't be afraid at all if I was the Chargers. There are also fluke games, just they happen. Now, see, talking about fluke games, that is like the Titans and the Jets. I think it was mostly just a fluke game. I think if they match up again, say in the playoffs, I think that it'll be a lot closer of a game. I think that the Chargers have debatably like top 5 coach in the league. I also think John Harbaugh is a great coach because even with all the injuries, he's looked outstanding. So I kind of agree with Tom where the Chargers shouldn't worry. Chargers fans shouldn't worry at all. They'll be completely fine. Honestly, I still think the Chiefs are going to win the division. I just can't see them not. But I also could, like, the Chargers are a good team. Mm-hmm. And for the Ravens, I think the Ravens, also a great team, definitely going to win their division. And I think they're also getting, I know he's not a huge thing, but Nick Boyle, the tight end, back next week. He just got activated off the IR. So the Ravens are getting even better. I hope that they match up again in the playoffs because I think it would be a much better game than this one was.
Fair enough. The only thing that I have against the Ravens, though, is that they don't have the most consecutive games 100 yards rushing and plus now. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Did that get stopped?
Yeah, they did it for nothing. They pissed off the Broncos for no reason.
Wait, so it's tied now?
It's tied, yeah.
Okay, so they didn't do it for nothing.
They did it for nothing.
They should have had the whole thing. I mean, who were they playing this last week? It was like their ground game was just bad, and they had to go take it to the air to win the game, like barely. Did they go in overtime? I forget who they were.
It was against the Colts. It was the game.
Yeah, it was against the Colts.
They played horribly like the first half, and then just like all of a sudden Lamar Jackson.
That's why, they couldn't run the ball.
I'm the greatest quarterback to ever live.
How many yards rushing did they get?
Man, they couldn't have had more like between maybe 50 to 75.
I want to say it was around 60 something.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So I mean, like if they had that, then I'd be like, okay, they're gonna win the whole Super Bowl and everything. But
if I were Indianapolis and I knew they were gonna lose that game, but which Colts didn't know because the game was much closer than I thought. But if I would have been like, listen, Lamar, I need you to take this ball. I need you to just jog 25 yards and take a knee because
right. I would have been
continue.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Yeah, so try to stop them, but they ended up winning. The Colts just fell apart, so we'll see how it goes.
The Colts are way too talented for what their record is, and I will stand by that. If they don't win another game this entire season, I'm still going to say they're too good for their record.
The Colts look really good. I still think they have a shot at wild card.
Are they 1-5?
No.
They have a terrible record.
Aren't they 2-3 or 2-4?
Because they just won this week, didn't they? They beat the Texans. So they've won 2 games. Because they
haven't played the Texans yet.
2-4.
Oh yeah,
2-4, and they play San Francisco this week.
They're number 2 in our division right now.
That's going to be a good game.
Oh, that division is atrocious.
And they play the Texans.
Sir, our division has Derrick Henry and the Titans, and they're 4-2. So.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Jaguars, who are lucky to beat the Dolphins, who have 1 win. And then they have the Texans, who don't.
Lucky to beat the Dolphins. The Jaguars, they're lucky to be in the NFL. They should be exported to the XFL by now.
You're going on my side here by saying that the division is trash.
I agree. I think it's atrocious.
You have the Titans, the Colts, who have a terrible record even though they're not bad, and then you have a team without a quarterback and a team with a number 1 overall pick quarterback who throws 9 interceptions a game.
It's a real roller coaster. You get a lot of emotions in the AFC South, and
Jared, I am not here to disagree with you. I fully agree with everything you're saying right now.
But so I mean, like it's time to like I don't know invest in a team, right? Like if you want to take ownership and then maybe try to figure out what team you can buy stock in. I think there's a player out there who started. I think took ownership of a team right now, and he went out there and beat them. Any comments on that, Jared? Taking ownership of a team.
Okay, I'm gonna say
First
he's
off, you like my
not.
segue? Did you like my segue there?
He's not wrong. He has a very, very good record against the Bears. At the same time, if you watch that game, I'm not even saying that the Bears would have won if the refs weren't awful.
Mm-hmm.
But the refs made that so just like unenjoyable to watch. The Bears get like an early 7-0 lead and we get the ball back. We're on their side of the field. We get them to jump off sides, so we think it's a free play. Justin Fields, just throws it up and it gets intercepted. And they're like, yeah, nope, no foul there whatsoever. Then there's another play. A.J. Dillon gets the ball, and Khalil Mack stops him at the line of scrimmage on like 2nd and 2, and they give them the first down anyways. Then Aaron Rodgers, throws, I think it's like 3rd down. He throws like an incomplete pass, and while he's laying on the ground, Mario Edwards was the one who hit him as he threw it, and he holds Mario Edwards' face mask. Mario Edwards points at him as he's standing up, and Mario Edwards gets flagged for the whole taunting rule, which the taunting rule is the most stupid rule to ever exist, and I will stand by that till the end of time. I despise Aaron Rodgers with a passion. At the same time, I'm not going to be biased. I think he's maybe the second most talented quarterback to ever play the game.
Who's first?
I know it's early, but I'm going to say Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is
Patrick.
I can call him Pat. Okay, maybe we're buds. You don't know that. You don't know.
His mother tells you not to, sir.
Is he my homie?
Mitch Trubisky, his mom told him to say Mitchell, not Mitch, but people still call him Mitch. And he's totally on the level of Pat Mahomes. Anyway, nice. I think Aaron Rodgers wasn't necessarily wrong at all in what he's saying because he does kind of own us.
Right.
Was it necessary to say no? At the same time, I get how it is as an athlete. I mean, I say athlete as in I played at the high school level. I talked a lot of trash. Trash talk is the name of the game. It's just a part of how it goes. Mm-hmm. I think it's fun to trash talk. It's why I don't like the taunting rule. First off, you can't say anything or else it's 15 yards. As much as it pisses me off to see every 5 seconds on Instagram or Twitter, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears all over the place. I do think it's a part of fun in the game. I do hate the Packers, but it's in the end of the day, it's a game that I watch for entertainment, and he has every right to say it. I don't have a problem with it. It annoys me, but I don't have a problem with it. I can respect it.
90s slow clap, man. That was okay.
Jared, I'm proud of you. I am. I really am. I thought you were just gonna go on a rant here, and I thought you were just gonna be pissed, and you're gonna tell me how much you just hate Aaron Rodgers. So, kudos to you, man. Good job.
I've grown.
Well, listen, I'm gonna be a little less nicer than you are. Aaron Rodgers does own the on the Bears because his record against the Bears 21-5.
22-5 now.
No, I just saw that. Saw the most updated.
I think it's including this game. It's 21-5 now.
Oh, is it? I thought it was.
Yeah, I believe so. But either way, 21-5. He's thrown for 57 touchdowns and he's thrown over 6,000 yards against the Bears. So does he have a right to? Should he say that? I don't know. That's debatable. That being said, like you said, every single fan in the stands always make all kinds of comments towards players whenever they can. Possible. They say the rudest thing. Never gets on camera. Never gets repeated. Nobody ever cares about that. It's only bad when the athlete responds back to it, right? And I think that's kind of what's happening in Aaron Rodgers, who's just been playing. And I believe a week ago, a reporter actually asked him if he'll ever consider playing for the Bears, and he said absolutely not. That's one of the things he said that's never going to happen.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers. We have Justin Fields.
Okay, listen. See that you're making a decision with your emotion right there. Because
Do I want a 30, like, was he 37, 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers, or do I want a 22-year-old Justin Fields?
do you want to ring or you want to go 8-9?
Do I want to, or you want to mean, do I want to go 8-9, or do I want to lose in the NFC Championship game?
Which one would you rather have?
Justin Fields.
uh,
I'd rather be 8-9 and miss the playoffs and be sad then than cry at every NFC Championship game. Okay.
That's fair.
He's already
Well,
got the
listen.
85 Bears. They were really good. So 85 was really good, and maybe other years. Rex Grossman took him to the Super Bowl too. So
Jose, Jared's going down to that Texans level, man. He'd rather not cry in the NFC Championship game. He'd rather stay 8-9. He'd rather just have expectations way low.
There's no way he's not.
They go
I can never
9-8.
be
He could be
disappointed.
the happy camper.
There's no way he's at our level. Okay, you got to crawl through a bunch of crap first, and then
You gotta hire Bill O'Brien.
and you
Which
get
they're
down
doing with
lower.
Matt Nagy. Seems like they're.
Oh no,
pretty-
Matt Nagy's on Bill O'Brien's level. I think they're like it's him in the
That's what I'm
sky.
saying.
Argument there, yeah.
And how many quarterbacks have Matt Nagy gone through in the last 3 years?
He had Mitch. I mean, Chase Daniels was a backup, but he started a few games because Mitch got hurt, so you could count that. Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields.
Hey, listen, they're on track.
So not that many, right? So
They're on track.
Justin Fields is great and he's going to be great, and Matt Nagy's not going to always be there. So maybe
whenever
Justin Fields could be your Deshaun Watson.
This offseason, when we fire Matt Nagy and get a competent head coach who's an offensive guru who can actually coach an offense, Justin Fields will prosper and be a all-pro level quarterback. Nagy is ruining Justin Fields. If anyone watches watches any games, you can see that. Matt Nagy refused to let Justin Fields have any first-team snaps all the way through training camp and preseason until he was actually the starter because Andy Dalton got hurt. There was no he has no chemistry with the receivers at all, not even from the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Justin Fields is he's a rookie, yes, which gives him inexperience, and he has even less inexperience because of the lack of time he's even had with the first team.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. See how he plays out. I mean, I liked him from the beginning. So I thought whenever he came into the first game wasn't the best. Obviously, that was one of the worst games that was coached. But he came back and he's shown some promise right there. I think he's going to be good.
He got thrown into the second half of the Cincinnati game too, and Cincinnati's not a bad team.
Right.
Well, listen, I mean, plus he's going to have some experience under his belt this year. Next year, Aaron Rodgers is going to be with the Steelers. So
Aaron Rodgers to Denver, mark it down now.
Denver, yeah. I don't know, man. I'll take a poll later on and see what.
Now that's going to be a different 3-0 team right there.
Yeah. They can actually beat teams better than Giants, Jaguars, and who's the third one? Jets. That's right. Yeah.
Maybe he'll have better luck in the AFC Championship game.
But if you don't want Aaron Rodgers to be the owner of your team, so if you want somebody better than Aaron Rodgers, what the next person that the Bears are playing is the GOAT, and will he be one of the next Bears shareholders? I'm gonna let you take this one, Jared, first. Maybe.
I mean, in all honesty, does Tom Brady? I mean, we don't play Tom Brady that often. I remember playing. Okay, the one time I remember him playing when he was in New England against the Bears, he did absolutely demolish us. But that was whenever we were very, very bad, and the Patriots were very, very good. And that's the only one I remember off the top of my head. But then, last year, Nick Foles went to Tampa and beat Tom Brady.
That game was in Chicago.
Was it in Chicago?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where it's at. So here's the game plan. What Nagy should do. Just throw a surprise curveball out here. At game time, announce Nick Foles is starting, and we will win. That easy.
They beat him so bad that Tom Brady didn't even know what quarter it was. Remember?
That is also true.
No, sir. That they cheated. Okay. Tom Brady was supposed to get 2 second downs. They only gave him 1.
Oh,
and that's why when Brady. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I want to point out from that game is one of my favorite football clips ever. Tristan Wirfs was battling with Khalil Mack after the play, and with one arm, Khalil Mack like threw a 330-pound man, like flipped him over with one arm, which is one of my favorite things to ever look at. I will say we don't have Robert Quinn this week probably because he tested positive for COVID, which I don't think we were going to win anyways. I've been saying this is a guaranteed loss on the schedule. Tampa Bay is a very good team. And we don't have Robert Quinn. I think we're going to struggle. Do I think Tom Brady is an owner of the Bears? No. Maybe if he plays for the next 15 years and switches up his team again to replace Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, then maybe we'll talk. But for now, no. I think he wins like half the time, to my knowledge. So it's not that bad.
So, Jarrett, Tom Brady's played the Bears 6 times.
Is he 5-1?
He's 5-1, sir.
Damn. Okay.
Tom Brady's 5-1 against the Bears. He's lost once. But listen, couple of things. One, last year, we all know it was his first year there. They were still trying to figure out that offense. There was like a 5-minute part in the third quarter. I don't know if you guys remember that game where they kept going 10 yards back and forth just because of penalties. Y'all remember that? I don't know if you remember that game at all.
I briefly remember there was penalties, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, there was so much time wasted in the third quarter because of penalties. There was offensive holding followed by like pass interference, and then another offensive holding, defensive pass interference. And then on top of that, there was also, I think the turning point of that game was actually in the fourth quarter when Ronald Jones fumbled the football. I don't know if you guys remember that too. Now, that being said, I think that fumble was actually not Jones's fault. It was actually Tom Brady's fault. It was a very bad thrown ball. It was a blindside hit. Brady threw it kind of behind him, and boom, he just got hit. Ball popped out. They originally called it an incomplete pass because it was so close, but then they reversed the call to a fumble, which then the Bears advanced on, and that's actually what put the Bears on top. And then, of course, 1-point game going back down the field, the whole fourth down thing, and what happened from there. That's how they actually lost that game. That game actually reminds me a lot of how the New England game went. The New England Buccaneers game went just a few weeks ago, except the weather was bad, and Bill Belichick have practiced against Tom Brady more than any other team, any other coach in NFL history has. While the Bears have a good defense, I do think the Buccaneers offense in general they're playing so much better now. They're actually playing at home this time. They're not away. And listen, you can book Nick Folson, you can sign Eli Manning back. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Superman has kryptonite, and there's people that continuously beat Tom Brady, but considering that the Bears just beat him last year, if I know a competitive person, it is Tom Brady, and he's going to come back, and I can pretty much guarantee you that the Bears are going to take a loss on this game.
Would you guarantee that the Titans would beat the Jets?
Would I guarantee that the Titans beat the Jets? If they play right now again, yes. But would I have a better guarantee of Tom Brady as a quarterback beating the Bears versus Ryan Tannehill beating any team in the NFL? I think I would go with Tom Brady.
Seems fair. I mean, I'm tired of betting against Tom Brady. So
listen, Tom Brady can win this game all he wants, but we beat him last year. That's all I need. That's all I need. We beat Tom Brady.
He gives a crap. He won the Super Bowl last year.
I don't care. We beat them, so therefore the Bears are the best team in the league.
Oh Lord.
See, the Saints beat them twice, but they beat the Saints. We beat the Bucs. They didn't beat us. Therefore, Bears are the best team in the league.
Hey, they would have if you would have played in the playoffs.
No,
it's not their fault.
Listen, doesn't matter. Mitch Trubisky was MVP, first ever MVP. Go. Does Tom Brady have an MVP?
Yeah.
No.
One of them was when he was 40 years old.
No,
Let that sink in.
MVP. Nickelodeon valuable player.
Oh, wow.
First ever MVP.
Apparently, he keeps it in his locker room or in his locker.
I mean, Was that like a sympathy award for being like over 40, like the over 40 award MVP, Tom?
What, for Tom Brady?
Yeah, was that the sympathy?
Well, the year he won it, he was actually second in line to win it. First was Carson Wentz, but he walks and he breaks his foot, so then they had to give it to somebody else.
The old double ankle strain.
Hey, listen, that's the year Nick Foles beat him in the Super Bowl.
I remember that one. The little trick plays and everything. Yeah, let's not go.
Bring out the Philly special in Chicago.
And it's gone so well for the Eagles after that too. So so I think good teams prevail, right? But I don't know. Like I know we covered all the stuff and everything. I just want to take a quick moment to shout out to the Astros for a great game in Boston. We're going to take it back to Houston. So I don't know. Did you guys catch any of that game, by the way? I know.
I'm not a big baseball fan. If I do watch baseball, it's only the Cubs, and they're awful. So
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's. I mean, they'll do good someday again. What about you, Tom? Did you catch it?
I saw a little bit of it. I saw the last 2 innings of the game, but the last game and this game, they didn't hold back. And next game is here in Houston, so I look forward to it. Hopefully they don't go to Game 7. Hopefully they just seal the deal right here.
Finish it off. Yeah, we don't want them celebrating over here, so we'll just take it out. So, yeah, really good game right there. And then basketball season started today or yesterday, right? Did Boston take that? They went to overtime?
I will double check.
Double
overtime at least.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to start the season right there.
No, the Knicks ended up winning by 4.
The Knicks? Wow.
The Knicks aren't bad this year. They also got Kemba. I mean, I know Kemba's injury prone and all, but
they were actually not half bad last year either. Yeah.
I will say I know y'all are Houston fans. I don't know if you're Rockets fans. But Russell Westbrook makes the Lakers look bad.
Just him? They're like the old guys.
He shot LeBron and AD played amazing. Russell Westbrook shot like 3 for 12 and had 4 turnovers.
Golly. I mean, it's going to be an experiment throughout the season right there. If you want to get all the old folk, so see how they fare.
Hey Jose, you're a Texans fan, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You know who they play this week?
I don't like your tone when you say it like that. Yes, I am. They're playing this week. Who are they playing? Shoot, I don't even know. It's not going to be good. Oh, I know. I don't even have to look it up. Arizona Cardinals.
JJ Watt revenge game.
Does he really have to take a lot of revenge? They're undefeated, and we're the
7-0.
7-0. Yeah.
Hey, watch this be the Jets Titans game right here.
Davis Mills
Texans
locks in his legacy as the franchise quarterback of the Texans.
Remember that scene on the Avengers when they're like, we can go back and save them all, and then the Hulk says, "Don't give me hope." Yeah, don't give me hope, sir. Sorry, I don't know Avengers copyrighted, but I still quoted them. I don't care. So we'll be all right, YouTube.
As long as you give him credit, I think it's fine.
I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch the game on Sunday. And
I think the Colts 49ers game is going to be a very interesting one.
Can I add something about the 49ers?
Sure.
You know how you said that the Browns remind you of the Jaguars when they made the AFC Championship game and then were crap? How can you not say that's the 49ers? They were bad. They made the Super Bowl and lost, and then they've been bad. Like that.
There's a difference, though.
Okay, I get injuries are a thing. But at the same time, Kyle Shanahan is regarded as one of these, like, oh, he's one of the greatest coaches in the league. He's a mastermind. He can make anyone play better.
But he's unfortunate with injuries. It's not like, oh, you have 2 key players out. Last year, if you look at from their Super Bowl year, the year they made Super Bowl, versus last year, which is literally the following year, if you look at that roster difference because of injuries, it wasn't just like, oh, you have 2 of your main players out. That's why you're losing all these games. Their tight end was out, their running back was out, their quarterback was out, and they had players on defense out. It wasn't just a few injuries. That team was injury prone. Like,
what about the Ravens?
the Ravens are they're just playing great. But we've seen this from the Ravens before. Don't jump the gun yet.
John Harbaugh is a great coach. That's why they're still playing well.
Don't.
I don't think Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, and I don't think he should. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I don't think Kyle Shanahan should have a job. I don't think.
But
Luke Super Bowl
we've seen the Ravens go 14-2 and Lamar Jackson win an MVP and then get destroyed in the playoffs.
Okay, let me put it this way: who's made the playoffs more? Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, or Matt Nagy and the Bears?
Oh, Lord.
I don't care what your team is. If Matt Nagy's over here making the playoffs ahead of you, you do not deserve a place as a head
Besides Green Bay, okay, you have the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. Okay, your only competition, or the only, not your competition, the only competition for the majority of the NFL in that division is the Green Bay Packers. That's not the case for the 49ers. You have the Rams. You have the Seahawks, which, by the way, who were good, not anymore.
I don't even think they were that great before the Russell Wilson injury, but I get what you're saying. Yes.
Now, I'm not even talking about this year. You have the Rams. You have the Cardinals. You have the Seahawks. They're the best division in football. You have two quarterbacks out, and they're still probably the best division in football.
I don't know. I just don't. I've been saying this for years. I knew in the Super Bowl year, I was like, the 49ers are very good. And then the next year, last year, were atrocious. Yes, I know they have injuries, but at the same time, this year, they aren't that great either. And they have a few injuries, but so do most teams.
Hey, let me ask you this. That Super Bowl year with the 49ers, instead of Jimmy Garoppolo, if that was Aaron Rodgers, who wins that game?
If the Bears didn't have Mitch Trubisky,
not the Bears.
We had Tom Brady. Would we go to the Super Bowl? Probably. That's like
probably. I agree.
What is the what if and what is the scenario here?
I'm just saying.
The best quarterback in football, they'd probably make a 30-yard throw accurately. Yes.
I'm just saying that you're saying that Kyle it was literally one piece away. They were basically almost like one play away. Jimmy G just crumbled. But at the end of the day, from a team perspective, the 49ers were better, more talented from a full roster standpoint than the Chiefs in that game. Matter of fact, they actually outplayed the Chiefs 3 quarters of that entire game.
Kyle Shanahan was also the offensive coordinator of the Falcons.
Yeah, they outplayed Tom Brady 3 quarters.
So fine, Kyle Shanahan is a great coach in the first 3 quarters, but don't ever let him coach the 4th quarter.
That might be a good point.
There you go.
Maybe that's the secret formula right there. But hey, you know what? There are so many rumors that the Miami Dolphins are probably going to finalize on a trade for Deshaun Watson. I still think the 49ers should go after him.
I think so too, because I love Tua, and I know he hasn't been great for the Dolphins with injuries and just they don't utilize him very well. But at the same time, I also bought a Tua jersey, and I don't want it to last a year and then not make any sense. I think Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback. I also don't think he's going to go for as much as people think he will. I think he will go for a lot. Like, if the Dolphins get him, it'll probably be 2 and, 2 firsts. But it won't be as much as they were asking, where it was, 4 first-round picks and 3 good defensive players. Just for the fact, because whenever he requested the trade and they put what they wanted in return was all pre the situation.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed, but also Miami looks like they're playing, either in a sense of they absolutely cannot win with Tua. That's why they're 1-5 right now. Or
Tua had a really good record last year.
Or Brian Flores went to the front office and said, "Guys, listen, don't fire me yet. We're gonna tank this year, and we're gonna get another good pick next year's draft." And because you know what, Tua was a big mistake, right? One of those two things are happening right now. So they either want to get Deshaun Watson in and start winning again, or they're gonna continue to lose games. I think. But that being said, I still think Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, 2 number 1 picks for Deshaun Watson.
Would the Texans care to get 2 quarterbacks though?
No,
I
but
could see
they
Trey
can.
Lance.
But Trey Lance doesn't really cost you much money, right?
That is fair, yeah.
And you never know which one of these are going to be hurt. So it's good to have an okay backup. You can still put both of them through through the season and through training camp next year. And if they want to trade them up, even if it's just for like a later pick, because let's face it, after Bill O'Brien took over the Houston, now we have like 4 picks in the next 30 years. So we can use a couple of picks. So,
Bad.
Hypothetically, say I'm the Texans and you're the 49ers.
Yes,
and I say, okay, we'll give you Deshaun Watson if you give us Garoppolo, Lance, 2 firsts, a second, and Fred Warner. Do you accept the trade?
Wait, it's 2 quarterbacks and the pick?
2 firsts, 1 second, and Fred Warner, who is, talked about as debatably the best linebacker in football.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
I don't think I would do that. I think that's asking for a lot.
I mean,
that's what apparently they were asking for. Because whenever the rumors that the Bears were going to trade for Watson, they wanted like 3 first-round picks, Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack, and Jalen Johnson, which is like our 3 best defensive players and 3 first-round picks.
And look, and that was before this whole Deshaun issue came up, right?
I mean, even after though, like the asking was still the same after, but no one wants to pay that price.
Hey, listen, and that asking price is the reason why Deshaun Watson is still sitting on a bench every game, right? So that is an outrageous offer. I think that's too much, but I think that's why I said, hey, listen, because they want one good quarterback, which is Deshaun Watson. If you get a good Deshaun Watson, you can get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. There's no point of keeping one of them because they're basically going to sit on the bench unless Deshaun Watson gets hurt. But again, if Deshaun Watson gets hurt, who are you going to put in? Jimmy Garoppolo? He's going to get hurt before he gets on the field somehow. And then there's Trey Lance, who has no experience. So you can give both of those away. You can give them 2 number 1 picks. And then on top of that, cherry on top, you want to throw a second-round pick? Sure, go for it. Because I do think at the end of the day, the 49ers has the talent right now for them to still bounce back and go win. Especially considering that the Rams are beatable, I think, with Deshaun Watson. I really think that. And the Cardinals, it was a 7-point game, and it was a 7-point low-scoring game with Trey Lance playing. Right. Imagine in the next game when they meet up that you have Deshaun Watson.
I think I know I've talked a lot of crap on the 49ers. I think if they do get Deshaun Watson without giving up big pieces of their team, even if it's just picks, I will say I think that they will be
contenders.
I don't know if I want to say the best in the division, but they'll be up there.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if they'll catch Cardinals just because of how ahead the Cardinals are. I mean, I'm already just going to say they're 7-0. Because,
Texans
they have a practice game this Sunday.
No argument here. No, take that back. That doesn't work. That doesn't even sound right.
But I think the 49ers can make wild card. I just think it's worth a shot. I don't know if they're probably going to do it. Maybe they won't even attempt to do it because of all the issues that surrounding Deshaun Watson. None of those have come to a conclusion. So we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Miami's going to trade for him. And then 2 weeks later, boom, Deshaun Watson suspended by the NFL for the next, 10 games.
Yep.
And then you got Jacoby Brissett playing.
It's a big gamble right there. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, with Tua's injury history, Brissett basically starts anyways. But
that's fair. And Brissett doesn't look too terrible. I'll give him that.
He's just like he's strictly a bridge quarterback. He doesn't look atrocious, but he also makes a lot of stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would only trade Deshaun Watson. I feel like should only get traded if they clear up all of the messiness going on.
Well, the thing is, though, the messiness. So the reason teams want to trade for him now is because his stocks are down. Because if the messiness gets cleaned up, that valley is going to go right back up.
That's also a huge risk, though, because if you do trade anything and the messiness doesn't get cleared up, then you lose everything.
High risk, high reward. That's what they're looking at, and they're just hoping for the reward.
I mean, hypothetically, say the Bears don't have Justin Fields right now. I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, but it's also, listen, let me ask you this. It's also, if you think about it, it's like Richard Sherman signing with the Bucks, right? He has an open case right now going on, right? But it's just not resolved yet, so they don't know exactly what's going to come out of it. And teams might just look at it that way and say, hey, listen, as long as Deshaun Watson doesn't have a verdict until February, which is what we're hoping to get to, we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the 49ers, who are maybe possibly thinking, oh, hey, we're a win now team. We get this guy in within a week. We can have him ready to go. We can start winning games. We can go play in the Super Bowl and actually win the Super Bowl this time. And if they think, okay, court date's in March, he can play until then, get him in. Let's go.
Something else, yeah. But, well, guys, coming towards the end of it, I'm going to take like a minute, I guess. You guys got any final thoughts for the week or anything that you want to touch on? Favorite thing to look forward to in this coming weekend?
Since I can't say the Bears are what I'm looking forward to, I honestly, any team, I want to see the Bills come back. I don't think they're not on a bye, are they?
The Bills?
I don't believe
so.
The Bills are on a bye.
They are on a bye.
The Bills are on a bye, and so are the Cowboys.
They are on a bye. Okay, so I guess not this week, but the next week I want to see the Bills bounce back.
It's going to be Halloween. That's going to be scary.
It's probably not going to be a great game. I want to see the Cardinals and the Texans. I haven't watched a bunch of Cardinals games this year. The only one I watched beginning to end was week 1, and at the time I thought it was possibly kind of like a fluke. So
there you go.
I look forward to the Chiefs-Titans game. I think that's going to be very interesting to watch. I look forward to the Colts 49ers game. I think that's also going to be a great game to watch. It's like, who's going to get hurt first? You got Carson Wentz and Jimmy G. I'll take bets on that, by the way. I think Carson Wentz.
If Carson Wentz goes down, they got the rookie from UT.
And then lastly, I think Lions are going to get their first win this week, guys.
All right. That's a
bold
prediction right there. Who are they playing?
The Rams.
Did you say the refs?
The Rams.
Just the Rams to end it now. No. 0 chance.
Wow.
Not going to happen.
This is the week.
Actually, wasn't it last year the Rams? The Jets' first win of the season was against the Rams.
I think so. I was actually very frustrated about the Jets winning last year because I actually placed a bet, say that the Jets will go without a win throughout the entire season, and then they won, I think, week 14.
It was like week 14, and they also won like week 17 or something.
Something like that. It was because they were, I think, week 13, they were actually beating the Raiders, and I was like, oh my God, like really? Raiders?
Oh, like
the Raiders had the Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Yeah, because the Jets didn't do like a cover 4 or anything. They were pressed.
They rushed the quarterback.
Yeah, it was like an all-out blitz, and so Derek Carr just stood there for a second and threw it to a wide open
he just
receiver.
threw it up in the air, and it was like such a Jets thing to do.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah, and my hopes went up so much. I got so happy when I saw that. I'm like, man, because the odds were so crazy. Because I think I had only put like $20 in, and I was like, I'm gonna win like $300 if they go, winless. And then the Raiders had the Hail Mary to win the game, and I was so happy. And then, of course, boom, they won 2 games towards the end of the season. And I'm just like, wait, you have the number, at this point, just lose. You have the number 1 pick. And they're like, oh, no, we're going to try to win. We don't want to.
They passed on Trevor Lawrence for Zach Wilson to
right.
win 2 games.
Yes. Now that's a Jets thing to do right there too. So
that's so Jets.
That's so Jets.
Well, I know I know we've been talking football a lot and everything. I'm gonna be the contrarian guy as always and everything, but I'm looking forward to a couple of things. There's a big we talked about the Astros a little bit, so I'm looking forward to the Astros finishing this series, and hopefully they end up strong and everything. So that's going to happen Friday. They're going to be doing that, and hopefully that'll be the last game, if not Saturday. Game 7 will be pretty epic if it does go. And then I'm going to go a little boxing too. Shakur Stevenson taking on Jamal what's his name? Jamal Herring. That's going to be a good fight. It's going to be on ESPN, so it's like kind of pay-per-view or anything like that. So if you guys have that, ESPN Plus would be really good to watch that fight. I think UFC has some fights too, but I'd rather go with the boxing. I know I love UFC and everything too. So
I know we're in 2021, but I still have an antenna sticking out from the back of my TV.
Are you okay? Well,
I'm not exaggerating right now.
You should still be able to get the Fox game, I think. Oh wait, it's on Fox Sports.
I haven't watched like UFC since Chuck Liddell was fighting.
It's been a minute, yeah. So
I'm a little out of touch there.
It's been quite a minute.
Yeah, when I last saw UFC, I think Conor McGregor was actually good.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, there's a good main event. There's a lot of good fights for UFC this week. They're picking back up again. Paulo Costa and Marvin Vettori is the main event, number 2 versus number 5 in the middleweights. So yeah, I wanted to change it up a little bit, and then I know during the season we'll be able to talk a little bit more of all the other sports too, and basketball and all that. So yeah, it's been a good one, guys. I guess we'll catch y'all on next week. It's been fun.
Yes, sir.
All right, see you guys later. All right.
Later.